Thank you.
Smoke signals. Thank you.
Mr. Josh Grossberg, has he joined us online? All right, that concludes the speakers we have for tonight. Going to start with Councilman Boxell.
Thank you, Petey. Yeah, you voiced a lot of concerns. I'm gonna reach out to you as well, offline as you requested, so we'll talk. That's,
Thank you. Councilman Potteet.
Thank you, Council President. Pete, thank you for coming and being patient. I know you were here last meeting and you got here late, but thank you for coming back to speak with us. I wanted to do a slightly deeper dive on the school buses. What streets are those school buses parked on that's causing?
Mr. Tishalis, can you come up to the mic?
And you have to press the button to speak.
There's quite a few. There's bus companies on Third Street. There's bus companies on Franklin Avenue. Those are the ones that affect me. Pepsi-Cola. There's bus companies up and down Route 22. Mostly owned by two individuals I know. And it's very lucrative. It's nice and all. I guess it's a necessity. I think kids should walk like we did. But it's overpowering. We can't even get through there. Not only the idling buses sitting idling, which is a state law, they're violating. They clean out their trucks and dump everything in the street, etc. But they take up too much room and they block the street every day. Franklin, Third Street, Route 22. There's a few more. I don't recall the addresses.
And just one other quick question: at what time is this? Is this during school hours or open air?
Before school starts, they start at 6 in the morning, 5:36. See the lights. I used to work for the bus company in the Bronx. They got to warm them up and get them ready. And then again midday sometimes, and then at the end of the day, we split the shift. But the cars come and go, but they're there when no one else can. There's machine shops. There's retail business, a lot of industrial business. There's a lot of body shops, a lot of repair shops. No one has any spaces. We get the tickets. I get the court today about tickets.
Thank you, Mr. Tishalis. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I think you're in good hands with my council mates when it comes to that issue. So I'll stop there.
Okay. Councilman Gleason.
I think that Councilman Potteet and Boxell covered it, and I look forward to Councilman Boxell's report back to council.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes, our council persons answered correctly, but I also want to add, I'll stop by this week because I know the area you're talking about is a block away from the youth shelter. Correct? And I want to make sure, yeah, right around the corner. And I want to make sure that the school buses are being good neighbors. So I'll drive by this week and I don't know if you ever had a conversation with them, but I have a conversation with them just to be good neighbors. So if they're moving buses, it would be nice if they place their cars in the place of their buses, and then when they come back, they take their cars out and put the buses back. But that just starts with a conversation. So I'll converse with them this week. And I'll get in contact with you to see what kind of resolve we can come up with. Okay, thank you so much. That's all I have.
Thank you. The only thing I'll add to that is, Mr. Chalice, I had an opportunity to speak with the buildings department today, and I'll hand over the notes to Councilman Boxell since he's gonna give you a call. They said that they're willing to let you know what's going on with the property and help you resolve through it, walk through and tell you what you need to do to resolve the issues. So I'll hand that information over to Councilman Boxell and hopefully communicate that to you. Absolutely.
And I just want to add that I worked on Mr. Chalice's issue many years ago, so I can also give you some historical background.
thank you both.
Thank you. Any comments, questions before we move into the referral session?
Madam President, are we gonna do the referral session first, or are we gonna do the interview first? You know that? I thought we.
Okay. I think it's a short agenda we can get through, but what is the pleasure of the body? Would you like to interview first or would you like? All right, let's get through the referral session and then, all right. We're gonna start with legislation and public works.
Thank you, Madam President. Item number one, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the advertisement for bids for the resurfacing of various streets in the city of Mount Vernon that is on the agenda. Item number two, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Partners in Safety for drug and alcohol testing services for the Department of Public Works to comply with US DOT regulations. That is on the agenda. Item number three, Public Works. Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of 3 trees generously donated by Neighbors That Care, Inc. for planting on South Columbus Avenue near the Graham School parking lot. That is on the agenda. Item number four, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing and supporting the HIV/AIDS Awareness Walk, Breaking Stigmas, One Step at a Time, to be held on Saturday, June 21st, 2025. That is on the agenda. Item number five, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the Mount Vernon Recreation Department to co-sponsor the annual Juneteenth Walk and Celebration and Interfaith Health Fair in partnership with the Yusuf Shah Islamic Center and to appropriate funds for the event, Saturday, June 7th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is on the agenda. Item number six, Recreation. Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor City Fest 2025 in partnership with Friends of Mount Vernon, Recreation and Youth Programs, Inc., and for related purposes, Saturday, September 13th, 2025, with a rain date of Sunday, September 14th, 2025, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. That is on the agenda. Item number seven, Water. Board of Water Supply, an ordinance retroactively authorizing attendance at the 2025 Mayor's Water Council meeting. That is on the agenda, and this is the second vote. It did not pass the last meeting. Item number eight, Board of Water Supply, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of the salary of the senior account clerk position in the Board of Water Supply. That is on the agenda. I have item number 18, an add-on. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon to appoint Nia Howard Fenton to the Tree Advisory Board pursuant to Chapter 252, Section 252-17 of the Code, April 23rd, 2025 to April 22nd, 2028. That is on the agenda. That is all at this time, Madam President. That was a wrong topic.
Thank you. Question for the 2 events for recreation. I see PD, I see DPW's response. Did we get a response from fire as well?
I was told that all responses were in.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. So clerk, do we have a response from fire as well?
We don't, Deputy Commissioner Field is doing polling, so he's not here.
Did we get a verbal approval and we just waiting for the written?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Human Resources?
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 9 from Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to sponsor the annual Summer Breeze concert series and a set monetary donation to support said series. That's on the agenda. I have 2 add-ons. Item number 19 from the Youth Bureau, an ordinance granting permission to the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau to utilize City Hall Plaza on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 to host the Youth Mental Wellness Fest, and that's on the agenda. Item number 20 from the Clerk's Office, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, honoring Catherine Coleman Flowers for her extraordinary work, and that's on the agenda. That's all I have.
Thank you.
How come that wasn't under LPW?
The resolution?
Yeah.
Resolutions typically don't have a committee
Okay.
who
I was
requested.
just curious.
Yeah. We're gonna go to Public Safety and Codes.
Thank you, Council President. Item number 10, for information purposes from Consumer Protection, the monthly report for March 2025. Item number 11 is held from OEM. Item number 12 is on the agenda for public safety and ordinance authorizing the acceptance of 12 parking spaces from the Montefiore Health System for the use of the Mount Vernon Police Department. Item number 13 is on the agenda for public safety and ordinance authorizing the purchase of equipment from Faro Technologies for the Criminal Investigation Unit of the Department of Public Safety and waiving competitive bidding requirements. Item number 14 is on the agenda from Public Safety and ordinance authorizing 2 members of service from the Department of Public Safety to attend the Vigilon Unity Training in Somerville, Massachusetts from May 13th to May 15th, 2025. And I have an add-on. Item number 21 from the city clerk, city council. A resolution of the city council of the city of Mount Vernon designating itself as the lead agency for proposed zoning amendments regarding indoor amusement uses in the CB LI 7.5 and I zoning districts, referring the amendments to the city corporation council, city planning board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing for May 14th, 2025. And that's all I have.
Fine. All right, thank you, and finance and planning.
All right, thank you, Madam President. Number 15 from the controller. An ordinance authorizing the adoption of installment of plan standard terms and conditions for delinquent tax payment agreements. That's on the agenda. Number 16 from the controller's office as well. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into payment plan agreement with the New York State Department of Civil Service for outstanding health insurance premium arrears. That is on the agenda. And number 17. From the controller's office, an ordinance authorizing the controller to enter into a partnership with Aflac to offer volunteer supplementary dental benefits to employees through payroll deduction. That's on the agenda. And I got 2 add-ons. Number 22 from the city clerk. A resolution for home rule request to support the state senate bill number S 7322 and Assembly Bill number 7348. This is for the transfer tax increase of deeds. And that is on the agenda. And the other one is also from city clerk. Resolution for home rule request in support of state senate bill number S 7321 and Assembly Bill number 7341. This is for the hotel occupancy tax. And that's on the agenda.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions, comments?
Madam President?
Councilman Gleason?
Yeah, I just want to mention that item number 22 has to do transfer tax increase on deeds, and item number 23 has to do with the hotel occupancy tax.
Thank you. Councilman Potteet?
Thank you, Madam President. We had a question on Monday, Councilman Boxell, about the tax link sales.
Yeah.
Any updates from the comptroller or?
Oh, sorry.
That's
I don't want to be smart. Did you, go ahead, answer that. Did you reach out? Yeah.
You have to come to the mic, and gentlemen, you have to turn your mics off.
Just very quickly, when you get to the actual agenda, you can give the controller a heads up by texting him and he'll come online. All right?
Well, are we gonna go to the agenda or are we gonna go in? I say we should let's get through the agenda. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Boxell,
Present.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Here,
Councilman Potteet,
Here.
Councilman Thompson,
Here.
Council President Brown.
Here. Legislation and Public Works?
thank you, Madam President. Item number 1, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the advertisement for bids for the resurfacing of various streets in the city of Mount Vernon. So moved.
Second.
On a question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Boxell,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 2, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Partners in Safety for drug and alcohol testing services for the Department of Public Works to comply with US DOT regulations. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 3, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of 3 trees from Neighbors That Care, Inc. for planting on South Columbus Avenue near the Graham School parking lot. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Not really so much a question, but a statement. I just wanted to thank the Neighbors That Care. They've done a lot in that community to enhance the environment. This is not the first group of trees that they have donated, and I just wanted, on behalf of City Council, to thank them.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 4, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing and supporting the HIV/AIDS Awareness Walk, Breaking Stigmas, One Step at a Time, to be held on Saturday, June 21st, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 5, Department of Recreation, an ordinance authorizing the Mount Vernon Recreation Department to co-sponsor the annual Juneteenth Walk and Celebration and Interfaith Health Fair in partnership with the Yusuf Shah Islamic Center to appropriate funds for the event Saturday, June 7th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 6, an ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to co-sponsor City Fest 2025 in partnership with Friends of Mount Vernon Recreation and Youth Programs, Inc., and for related purposes, Saturday, September 13th, 2025, with a rain date of Sunday, September 14th, from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye.
Item number 7, Board of Water Supply, an ordinance retroactively authorizing attendance at the 2025 Mayor's Water Council meeting. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
No, I just to make a quick comment, this came after the fact, and I will not be voting for it. We have mentioned several times about retroactive attendance to different places, and I feel like they should have communicated with the chair to move this forward. Thank you.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
No.
Item number 8, Board of Water Supply, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of the salary of the senior account clerk position in the Board of Water Supply. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. Yes, that was a confident aye. All right, Human Resources?
I'm sorry.
She has an add-on.
Just
Sure.
kidding, yes, number 7 passes.
It was the second vote.
Yeah, 2 votes to 3.
All right, I have an add-on, item number 17, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon to appoint Nia Howard Fenton to the Tree Advisory Board pursuant to Chapter 252, Section 252-17 of the Code, April 23rd, 2025 to April 22nd, 2028. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Just a statement, this This appointee has the same name as the mayor's daughter, but there is no relation.
That's correct.
Any additional comments or questions? All right, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. Human Resources?
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 9 from Department of Recreation. An ordinance authorizing the Department of Recreation to sponsor the annual Summer Breeze Concert Series and accept monetary donations to support said series. So move.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
And I have 2 add-ons. Item number 16 from the Youth Bureau. An ordinance granting permission to the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau to utilize City Hall Plaza on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 to host a Youth Mental Wellness Fest. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. Public Safety and.
And
Code.
my last item is item number 18.
I'm just kidding.
From City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon, New York, honoring Catherine Coleman Flowers for her extraordinary work. So move.
Second.
On the question? On the question, so had the press conference. I just want to say, Catherine Coleman Flowers' resume is phenomenal, and she was a major part in helping us get awareness to our city, and getting the funding. We talked about the 150 million that came from the governor's office, well, 160. But it was her advocacy that actually got attention to our community, got us involved in documentaries so that we could spread the awareness. So I was excited to be able to present her with our resolution yesterday, and just excited for the work that she's doing for underserved communities overall.
Madam President, can I ask you, is she still with the federal government? I wanted to ask.
She was never with the federal government.
Well, I thought she was an appointee of Biden.
She's well, all right, so I won't say she was never. I know she's not with the federal government right now.
That's what I was
She
asking.
was the environmental justice advocate.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. We'll move on, public safety and codes.
I'm up, public safety and code. Item number 10. An ordinance authorizing the acceptance of 12 parking spaces from the Montefiore Health System for the use of the Mount Vernon Police Department. So moved.
Second.
On the question?
I have a comment. There was a question at the working session about what PD was doing with old cars in the garage. I spoke to Commissioner Gibson. He's working with Commissioner Bush to clear the old cars out of the garage.
Thank you.
Clear go-karts.
Old cars.
The old cars on the first floor of Stevens Avenue garage.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Item number 11 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of equipment from Faro Technologies for the Criminal Investigation Unit of the Department of Public Safety and waiving competitive bidding requirements. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
Item number 12 from Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing 2 members of service from the Department of Public Safety to attend a Vigilon Unity Training in Somerville, Massachusetts from May 13th to May 15th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
And I have one add-on, item number 19, from City Council, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Mount Vernon designating itself as lead agency for proposed zoning amendments regarding indoor amusement uses in the CB, LI 7.5 and I zoning districts, referring the amendments to the City Corporation Council, City Planning Board, and Westchester County Planning Board, and scheduling a public hearing for May 14th, 2025. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. Finance and planning?
Are we gonna wait for the controller to get on or just go through it? All right.
Well, we can go to the controller. You wanna bring up the question, Councilman Boxer?
Yeah, the question was basically, where are we with the NREM or versus the tax lien sales? Basically an update.
Okay, good, good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yes, we
Good
can.
evening. Okay. So again, the tax lien, according to the, I'm hearing feedback. So according to the, charter, the tax lien, are to occur no later than the last Tuesday of June. As you know, we have issued out the list of delinquent taxes. So that I believe is in the process now of also being filed with the county court, the clerk's office, so that they also will have it, but it has been publicized. It's been on the website. The list of delinquent taxes, in addition to also the list of those that are excluded from that list, which includes those that have asked for a payment plan, in which you have, I think, on your agenda tonight to finalize those terms and conditions. In addition, so in addition to that, then those that are not on payment plan or on a bank order or a discrepancy issue, will then be those that will be a part of the list of the tax lien sale. Because of the enormity of the number of them, we have been working in my office to develop an online process for the actual tax lien sale. Believe that that would be the most efficient way of doing this, because according to the charter, we cannot do an RFP. I think, as I have communicated to the council previously, because the the charter does not afford for that. It says that the comptroller or the deputy must be the auctioneer and auction off of them as a public auction. So therefore, we have to proceed with a public auction. Given the enormity of the amount, it's going to be difficult, one, to do that kind of in person on one day. And I figured the most efficient way to do that is to develop an online process for them to be able to bid on it. And the highest or the best bid for that will then be awarded the purchase of the tax lien. We'll circle back with you once we finalize what that number is. But again, we are on schedule for us to be ready by the end of June to try to meet the requirements in the charter. And then whatever is not so, I guess, in that first round, again, according to the charter, the comptroller can then schedule additional tax lien sales And so we'll do that again subsequently, whether that's on a monthly basis or bi-monthly basis, to do the best that we can to recapture whatever the taxes are, that are owed for it. So that's pretty much the plan of right now.
Potteet, do you have any additional questions?
Thank you, Comptroller.
Quite welcome.
Councilwoman Gleason?
Slightly off topic. What about the properties that some people have put offers in with the real estate committee?
So those were dealt with in the next real estate committee meeting. As you know, we've had some challenges with actually selling those properties because one, there was change in law, but then we also had some challenges with the tax, with the titles. When we started to look through stuff, we realized that we didn't have all of the information, and a lot of these properties had some challenges with tax, with titles. So by advice of the Corporation Council, we needed to, one, hold off and let them do some additional kind of investigation and research on it. I believe the Corporation Council is coming to the committee with a update report on that. But I sent out an email earlier today, suggesting that we should get those bids that have been submitted prepared, so that we can then begin to look at them. And we may be in the case where we will just be offering to sell whatever properties in accordance to the charter regulations, and with the understanding that there may be a title issue. And if there's a title issue, that the purchaser will just have to agree to take, purchase of the property and work out or clear the title. At this point, I mean, that's the best that we can do, because we don't have presently, I do not have all of the documentation around these properties that were foreclosed on, and the process that was done in order to get the deeds on them. And so at this point, that would probably be the best pathway forward, unless I get some other legal advice as to otherwise. Or I shouldn't say I should say the committee gets that, because that is a committee, that will be a committee decision.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the explanation.
Councilman Potteet?
Thank you, Council President. Comptroller Morton, there's one other question that I have, which is, during the tax lien auctions, if there's no bidder, then do those properties revert back to the city?
If there's no bidder for them, then I believe that we will then have to have the council authorized to do an in-rem. They don't revert back to, wait a minute, which properties are you talking about? Make sure I understand which properties you're talking about.
Oh, no, that I'm referencing the properties for tax lien sale, not the ones owned by the real estate
Right.
company.
So the ones for tax lien sales, that's what I thought. Okay, so the ones for tax lien sales, no, they don't automatically revert to the city. I mean, the city can choose to also purchase the lien itself if it wanted to, but that would then. Are you missing me?
Control, can you hear me? Yeah,
I
I'm having
can-
a hard time hearing you in here. Can you adjust
Okay.
the mic?
I don't really have a mic. I'm actually doing it, but can you hear me now?
We can.
Yes.
And see you. We can hear and see you now.
Okay, so then the problem is that if there's no bid on them, and we can't get a bid on them, then we will have to make the decision to do an in-rem foreclosure, to foreclose on them. That would be the process on that, in order for us to get the actual tax that is owed.
Got it. And then just a follow-up question. Is the minimum upset price the price of the tax lien? So let's say if the tax lien's $100,000 and someone bids 80, does the city have to accept that bid, or can the city say, no, our upset price is 100, and we're just gonna not accept any low ball bids. Lower than our tax lien principal.
There is a formula that actually is laid out in the actual tax lien, process. So I'd have to get that and tell you what that is, but no, but if there's a bid on it, whatever basically the, most appropriate bid is what the city would accept. At the end of the day, what we would not accept is anything that is below the tax amount. Right? So there's the tax amount, then there's the interest and the penalties amount, right? But we would not accept anything below the tax amount because the tax amount is the portion in which was levied.
Got it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any additional questions for the comptroller?
Yes.
Councilman Boxer?
Mr. Controller, since we have you here, could you just touch on number 13, the payment plan? I know we've done this in the past as far as the amnesty program. Just talk about how it went before and the reason why we're doing it again.
Which one? Okay, so we talking about the payment plan, or we talking about my request to extend amnesty for a short period?
The amnesty.
So, yeah, so as I explained, and I guess in my letter to you all, that we did this before twice. But when we did it the last time, we also had the burden of also paying off the school taxes that was from the years of 17 through 19. So we could not, waive the school taxes for those years, and we made a requirement that they had to pay those up front. Well, we are now at the place where basically we as the city have paid all of that off. We're no longer paying it. And so now it also becomes part of the arrears amounts that are owed onto the city, so therefore we could very easily waive the interest amounts that were paid on that while still collecting the tax amount. So by doing that, it would make it more palatable for taxpayers to possibly take advantage of it. So hoping that if that's the case, that they will come in and pay all of the taxes that are due, and we would waive the interest that was on that for the periods that lead up to, I think it is 2020. But I think I laid it out 2023 on that. But 2023 on, they would have to be in good standing. They would have to have paid all of their school, city, and county taxes in order for them to be eligible for it. So we don't know how successful it will be, but it does give basically the taxpayers one last shot to try to cure their tax problem before they end up as a part of the tax lien sale.
And so, but have people come in before? How successful was it in the?
Yes, people did come in. It was marginally
Yes.
successful. We did not have a whole lot of people coming in, but we did have some people take advantage of it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Madam President,
Councilman Gleason?
just one quick question. If we move forward with the amnesty, for what period of time are we going to do it from?
Well,
Like
it
for
has to
how
be done.
long?
Yeah, it has to be, in my letter, I think I stated the 14th or the 13th of June, because it has to be done prior to us commencing a tax lien sale. Because whoever does not clear up their taxes by that time, they have to be a part of the tax lien sale. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind, this is the first time that we're doing a tax lien sale. And so therefore, we are learning about this process as we go along with this. What I am attempting to do is to give the taxpayer every opportunity to rectify their tax issue by either one, setting up a payment plan, or two, coming in and having amnesty, paying it all up in one shot, paying all their taxes off in one payment, and us giving them the waiving of the interest and the penalties as the law will allow us to do. And this is again the final last shot, because as you know, we have sent out at least 4 or 5 arrears letters over the time in which I have been the comptroller. So this is one last effort that has a number of ways in which they could cure their tax problem before we have to then sell their tax lien to a third party.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Comptroller. I know that you are, it's got really loud in here. I know that you are out of the country. I just wanted to, I'm not sure if this is a you thing or if Councilman Box is gonna lead on the capital projects update.
Yeah, I'm not in charge of the capital projects. I'm on the committee,
Yeah.
but I'm not in charge.
Yeah, I mean, I'll circle back with the committee, and
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I know that, Deputy, Commissioner of Public Works, he actually, was volunteering to give a presentation on the capital projects, so when I spoke to him last week, so.
All right, finance and planning, you can continue. Comptroller, you can hop off if you want, unless finance and planning.
All right, number 13 from the Control's Office, an ordinance authorizing the adoption of the installment plan standard terms and conditions for delinquent tax payment agreements. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
All right, number 14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a payment plan agreement with the New York State Department of Civil Service for outstanding health insurance premium arrears. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
All right, number 15, an ordinance authorizing the controller to enter into partnership with Aflac to offer voluntary supplementary dental benefits to employees through payroll deduction. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
All right, 2 add-ons, number 20, from the City Council, resolution for home rule request to support of State Senate Bill number S 7322 and Assembly Bill number 7348. This is for a transfer tax increase on deeds. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye.
All right, lastly, from City Council, resolution for home rule request in support of State Senate Bill number S 7321 and Assembly Bill number 7341. This is for hotel occupancy tax. So moved.
Second. On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. All right, Corporation Counsel has let me know that he would like to share some legal updates, and we also have an interview. So do we have a motion to go into executive session for both items?
I move that we go into executive session for legal matters and personnel. So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown,
Aye. All right, we shall return.
This is a quick audio test. I repeat, this is a quick audio test.
So you're coming in at 12 tomorrow?
Can we have a motion to exit
I'm-
executive
I
session?
move that we come out of executive session, so more.
Or we? Okay.
Second.
Roll call?
Aye.
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 Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. All right, do we have any final comments or thoughts before we adjourn? Awesome.
I move that we adjourn this meeting, so move.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Box Hill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gleason,
Aye.
Councilman Potteet,
Aye.
Councilman Thompson,
Aye.
Council President Brown.
Aye. Have a great night, Mount Vernon.